Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including new retrofits for Tesla owners, more Tesla taxis, possible Giga Berlin delays, the latest for the Apple car, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Exter for sponsoring this video. First up today, there have been numerous reports saying that Tesla's Giga Berlin factory is facing a 6-month delay. The reports said that Elon Musk has given the German team 6 additional months to start production, pushing back their planned start of production in July of 2021. The report in Business Insider says that production will be towards the end of 2021, in line with what Tesla announced at their earnings call. The latest update from Tesla officially said, quote, "In Europe, build-out of Gigafactory Berlin is continuing to move forward, with production and deliveries remaining on track for late 2021. Tesla has faced many issues with the building of this factory, such as water supply issues, environmentalist and deforestation issues, and more. According to the German newspaper, which is the original source of these new claims, quote, "The start of series production in Tesla's new Gigafactory near Berlin has been delayed by 6 months until the end of January 2022. Tesla boss Elon Musk officially gave the team half a year more. This apparently has to do with regulatory approval, construction delays, and delays to the build-out of the battery facility. So if production was truly not starting until January of 2022, that would be quite a bit different than starting in late 2021, according to Tesla. Well, after all of these news articles came out, a new article was published on Teslarati claiming that Tesla's Giga Berlin isn't facing a 6-month delay. According to Brandenburg's economic minister, quote, "I don't have the faintest idea of how anyone can come up with a 6-month delay. If nothing happens out of the ordinary, I still expect a start of production in late summer or early autumn." And again, this is a politician who has been heavily involved with the approval processes for this factory. Some feel that this could be some confusion between Tesla's start of production and start of battery production in Berlin, since the battery production facility has just begun its approval process. In any case, if Tesla was planning for July production, it does appear that it will come a little bit later this year. If you look to order a Model Y on Tesla's website, it used to say mid-2021 for Europe, and now it says end of 2021. It seems like a delay is likely happening, but it won't be 6 months and delayed until 2022, as has been widely reported. Time will tell, of course, but we know that getting their factory producing is one of Tesla's top priorities. Next up, let's talk about Tesla Ridesharing. I talked in my last video about Revel. Revel is an electric moped sharing company that is expanding to ride-sharing with an exclusive Tesla fleet. Their drivers are Revel employees and will be deploying a fleet of 50 Tesla Model Ys starting this month in New York City. The cars have extra legroom thanks to the front seat being removed and a screen for passengers in the back, and should be starting rides as of the start of May. Now, the New York Taxi and Limousine Commission has announced that for yellow taxis, the first and only battery electric vehicle approved is the Tesla Model 3. Taxi drivers have speculated that these will actually help bring passengers back to yellow cabs rather than Uber, Lyft, or other ride-sharing services that customers are preferring more and more. Weirdly, there are some very specific rules set in place for these vehicles, such as the condition that, quote, "BEV does not have a 0 to 60 acceleration rate faster than 4.4 seconds. This would already exclude the long-range Tesla Model 3 at 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. So it seems like an odd rule if they are allowing this vehicle. It seems there is a lot of resistance to the addition of Teslas to taxi fleets, but we are seeing them more and more. There will be tons of competition between yellow Model 3 cabs, Revel Model Y ride sharing, and all Tesla ride sharing in general. Then after all of that is established, Tesla is planning for their own Robotaxis and ride sharing fleet. These cars make a lot of sense for ride sharing thanks to a cheaper charging cost and cheaper maintenance, so I think it's just going to be the start of a much larger push to electric fleets. Once charging infrastructure is in place and scheduling is figured out for maintaining a fleet, it will be a no-brainer for companies. Next, let's get into the latest about the Apple car. Many people like to compare Apple and Tesla, seeing them as similar companies in the way they operate, change things, and don't tend to worry about what others are saying. One big fear going forward is that once Tesla's competition arrives, they'll be beaten on cost and quality, and now Apple is supposed to be entering into that competition against Tesla. There have been a ton of updates about this car, and the most recent ones make it even more real. First, since 2014, Apple has been working on Project Titan. At the time, they had over 1,000 people working on developing an electric car at a secret location in their headquarters. There were a lot of issues, a lot of hard work, and the car was rumored to be shelved in 2016. There have been plenty of sightings of Apple testing out Lexus vehicles and others fitted with Lidar as they reportedly work on their own self-driving technology as well. The car project is now under the leadership of John Giandrea, who is Apple's AI and machine learning chief and has been in charge since 2020. In December of 2020, it was confirmed that Apple is planning to launch a car, but it will take 3 to 6 years, and that they are developing a next-level battery technology with extended range and efficiency. There were various rumors back and forth about partnerships with companies to make the car, and updates said that Apple and Hyundai are partnering on the Apple car. Reportedly, this car would be made at a Georgia factory owned by Kia Motors, which is a Hyundai Motor Group affiliate, or it could be made at a new facility in the US to produce up to 400,000 vehicles per year. Apple always uses suppliers. Foxconn makes their phones, so it is no surprise that they do not plan to build Apple factories themselves in order to develop a car. According to the latest reports, a beta version of the car could be released in 2022, but full start of production will not begin until 2024, as the Apple car is, quote, nowhere near production stage. Well, a Hyundai-Apple partnership seemed likely. However, Apple is very sensitive about leaked information. We're not sure if this is the cause of it or not, but the most recent reports said that Hyundai and Kia have said there is no Apple car deal. They said they are no longer in talks with Apple on an autonomous electric vehicle, and this came only a month after they said they were partnering. Following this report, Nissan said, quote, we are not in talks with Apple. However, Nissan is always open to exploring collaborations and partnerships to accelerate industry transformation. Then a Korean report said that a Kia partnership would still be possible with Apple and could involve a wide range of negotiations from a full-fledged electric vehicle to a Kia electric scooter. Apple has still been in talks with multiple Lidar sensor suppliers for their car, and quote, the Cupertino, California-based technology giant is in active talks with a number of potential suppliers for these laser-based sensors that allow a car's computer to see its surroundings. We know that this is the opposite approach Tesla is taking for full self-driving, but that's a much longer discussion for another time. Basically, Tesla is using cameras only, and Apple is working on using LiDAR, and both think they are correct and the other is wrong. However, Apple is still actively testing with these intense rigs on Lexus SUVs. Over the course of 2020, their self-driving vehicles traveled 18,805 miles, up from 7,544 miles in 2019. Reportedly, they still had disengagements, but it was one every 144.6 miles. And that means that someone in the car had to take over to prevent an accident or some other wrong maneuver. The latest regarding a supplier seems to be that Apple is having trouble finding them. Quote, in this scenario, Apple would develop an autonomous system for the vehicle, the interior and exterior design, and onboard technology, while leaving the final production to the car maker. Such a deal would essentially ask an existing car company to shed its brand and become a contract assembler for a new rival. A longtime manager at both Apple and Tesla Inc. said this would be like Apple asking bitter smartphone rival Samsung Electronics Co. to manufacture the iPhone. Apple wants to challenge the assumption of how a car works, how the seats are made, how the body looks, the person said. A traditional automaker would be reluctant to help such a potentially disruptive competitor, said the person, who asked not to be identified discussing private matters. So Apple wants to change a lot of what a car is, which is no surprise for them. They always wait longer than we think they should to release a new product because they are trying to do it differently. Instead of just making a BlackBerry, they made an iPhone. However, a car is a very radical and unexpected thing for them to try and revolutionize on such a grand scale, and they will surely find trouble competing with Tesla, who is changing the way people experience and think about vehicles going forward, especially as battery costs drop over time. Most think that Apple will end up using a supplier like Foxconn or the more established car assembler Magna to build out their vehicle. Still, Apple is hiring a senior hands-on manufacturing engineer for its special projects group in charge of their car, so they are definitely planning on making it. Now, the very latest rumors show that Apple could be partnering with LG Magna e-powertrain, the name for a joint venture between auto supplier Magna and LG. Magna is an experienced car assembler, and LG is already an Apple supplier for the iPhone, heavily integrated into the process. Quote, LG Magna e-powertrain is very near to signing contracts with Apple under which they could handle the initial volume production of Apple EVs. Contract details are still being discussed. This update might make the most sense for Apple. Apple doesn't want you to know that Hyundai actually built their vehicle, and they already have a great relationship with LG. Now that LG is partnered with Magna, a company that will assemble vehicles without needing to protect their brand image in the process, Apple will likely partner with them on this project. Additionally, Apple could use LG for their battery cells in the vehicles if need be. Still, with all of these rumors and reports, everyone is saying it won't be until at least 2024 that we will see an Apple car. If it's still 3 entire years away, there will truly need to be some massive innovations there for it to succeed and not fall behind the ever-growing EV market. According to Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, he expects that Apple will open up about the project and publicly announce their ambitions for this car sometime this summer. For a project this far out and this secretive, I really doubt that from Apple, but it is very different and much larger than anything they've done before, so we'll see. But what does this mean for Tesla? Time will tell, but most aren't very afraid. By 2024, Tesla will have millions of vehicles on the road, have even more advanced self-driving systems available on all of their cars, and have an affordable $25,000 EV out to the masses. Apple will truly need to do something different and something with massive improvements for it to succeed by the time it comes. All of their products come at a premium, but it's a much harder premium to afford and succeed with when it's something as expensive as an electric vehicle. We'll see what happens, but by 2024, Apple should have a car close to release, and it should include very advanced self-driving technology and great efficiency. Real quick, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Exter. Exter is the world's largest smart wallet brand that designs innovative solutions to improve the way you carry your everyday items. Some particular features of their wallets include quick card access, RFID protection, and premium leather. Their wallet trackers work worldwide with Google Home, Alexa, and Siri, and are solar powered with 2 hours of sunlight, giving you up to 3 months of charge. Here's my aluminum card holder with the solar tracker. As you can see, I actually have 6 cards in here, and they release for super easy access at the touch of a button at the bottom of the wallet. Here's the tracker app connected to my wallet, which shows the location and allows me to ring it from my phone, among other features like camera shutter. Additionally, I can actually do the reverse and ring my phone from the wallet itself. The wallet and tracker are incredibly slim and far thinner than a normal wallet. As I mentioned earlier, it features RFID protection, which refers to radio frequency identification. This wallet prevents your card information from being stolen through your normal non-RFID protected wallet. Exter is currently running a 20% off sale, and if you go to exter.com/Ryan Shaw, linked in the description and comments below, you can get an additional 5% off. Check it out. Next up, as you probably know by now, Teslas are very quiet cars. They are so quiet, in fact, that it can actually be a bit of a hazard that you can't hear one coming when they are traveling at low speeds. Originally, Teslas were just quiet, but now they come with an external speaker to play a sound when backing up or traveling slowly. Interestingly, they added this to the Model 3, but when the Model Y launched in 2020, it did not come with the speaker installed at first. It wasn't truly a legal requirement until the end of the year, so Tesla, for some reason, decided to leave them off until necessary. For most people, they actually haven't minded missing the speaker because having the car without a speaker can actually be nice. Then in Tesla's holiday software update, they added this new boombox feature, which was really the main part of that update. It added a number of features to the external speaker, allowing you to play any sound you want through it, as well as your currently playing media. This was the first time owners were upset or even realized that their car did not include this speaker, because the boombox feature simply didn't show up in their cars, like mine. Now, finally, Tesla appears to be on the cusp of offering this pedestrian warning system in older Model 3s and Ys built between specific dates. According to a Model 3 owner talking with Tesla service, the speaker will now be able to get retrofitted into Model 3s built between July 5th of 2019 through September 9th of 2020. In that time window, the wiring harness was included, so all they need to add is the speaker, and it's an easy install. Any Model Ys built before August 14th of 2020 will also qualify for the same install, and my Model Y falls into that category. It even has the grille underneath to put the speaker, but it was simply missing the speaker. This upgrade will reportedly require a technician to install it and will also cost $200 from Tesla. Is it worth $200? I personally don't think so and feel the boombox feature gets old after using it a couple times. I also feel that it 100% should have been included in the Model Y since it was already included and added into the Model 3, but I'm sure tons of people will take Tesla up on this offer when it becomes official and get it. Last up today, there's a new report from the University of California, Davis, surveying owners of electric vehicles in California. The results showed, somewhat surprisingly and not, that about 18% of electric vehicle owners go back to gas-powered vehicles. 20% of plug-in hybrid owners go back as well. Two of the main reasons are ones you can completely expect: convenience of charging and not having level 2 charging at home. Tesla has tackled these issues from the start with their vast supercharger network. It continues to expand every day and allows owners in most areas to have a plethora of fast charging options on the road, even if they don't have charging at home. It's always surprising to me to see great EVs coming to market from other brands, but all of these manufacturers relying on third-party charging options. Long term, we will need a huge build-out of fast chargers, and Tesla's supercharger network still remains the best option by far. It's one of the biggest selling points for their vehicles in my opinion, and this survey confirmed it by finding that Tesla owners are the least likely EV owners to go back to gas vehicles. Fiat 500e buyers were much more likely to go back, and it makes sense considering reduced range and charging options. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, and if you want to check out this Model Y shirt for yourself, you can see it linked below. For the latest Cybertruck UI links, you could check out that video linked over here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.